Hey everyone, welcome back. And today I'll be reviewing Green Chef, which is a meal delivery service that offers pre-portioned ingredients and recipes to people who prefer cooking at home. Now, being a person with a little bit of cooking knowledge, I was thrilled to give Green Chef a try. And in this review, I'll be discussing the general quality of the service, highlighting the aspects that really impressed me and those that really did not. I'll also be talking about the overall taste of the food and whether or not Green Chef is the suitable option for your situation. Now, if at any point you'd like to check out Green Chef for yourself, you'll find helpful links in the description down below, including a discount code to help save you a little bit of extra money. Now, Green Chef is a subscription-based service which sends you a package that contains ingredients each week, depending on the meal plan that you choose. Green Chef stands out in the crowded meal kit service market by catering to the specific diets that can be hard to prepare at home. Diets like keto, protein, Mediterranean, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, and fast and fit. It's one of the few services that are certified organic by the USDA, which is also a great plus. It's also worth mentioning that there aren't many meal kit services out there that offer vegan options, so Green Chef really does stand out in this department. Now, with that being said, Green Chef claims that it's the most sustainable meal kit as it's certified CCOF organic, and it offsets 100% of its carbon emissions and the plastic in every box, making it the only meal kit company to do that. It's also certified gluten-free by the Gluten Intolerance Group's Gluten-Free Safe Spot program, and all produce and eggs are claimed to be organic unless otherwise labeled, which they tend to include as cards in their boxes, which state that certain items are conventional. I really appreciated this transparency as it shows Green Chef's honesty and consideration. Don't forget to visit their website for information about recycling, as they do provide advanced instructions. Now, moving on, you might notice that the box looks really similar to that of HelloFresh, which makes sense since HelloFresh actually acquired Green Chef in 2018. Inside the box, you'll find a welcome card, a perk envelope, some giveaway cards, and most importantly, their unique recipe cards. On the front of each card, you'll find a high-quality picture of the dish that you'll be preparing, alongside the estimated cooking time, the number of servings, calories, and net carbs per serving. You'll also find a list of the ingredients needed for the recipe, as well as the types of kitchen equipment that you're going to need, which is very handy. And last but not least, a list of allergens, which the recipe might include. This is really important in case you might have some allergies and want to avoid using such ingredients. It's worth noting that these ingredients are labeled and packed separately. Moving on to the back of the recipe cards, this is where you can find step-by-step cooking instructions, which are pretty straightforward and easy to follow. You can also see visual examples of these instructions by looking at the pictures that are provided. Also, one thing to keep in mind, if you find any crucial information missing, such as temperature required for the meats to be cooked, you'll find a note written in small font on the front page specifying these details. Next up, we have the ingredients, which are packed in a quite organized way compared to some of the other meal kit plan services that I've tried. This makes the cooking process even faster since you don't have to organize all the ingredients once you get them out of the package, which is a great plus, especially if you don't have much time to spare. Each meal comes in a separate recyclable bag that has the contents labeled on it, and under those bags we got the meats, which are covered by a large ice pack and a separator so everything stays nice and fresh while they're being delivered. Speaking of ingredients, everything is well packaged and the vegetables are great quality, which is expected since they were pretty crisp and fresh. That also applies for the meat and chicken, as Green Chef uses high-quality brands, and since they're 100% organic, none of their suppliers support the use of growth promoters like added hormones and such. Now, the ingredient count is lower than the average meal plan box, which results in fewer steps that are easy to follow, making it beginner-friendly. This can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on your preferences as a consumer, but nonetheless, you're still getting a ton of flavor even with the low number of ingredients. Now, with that being said, there are some aspects that I wish were different. For example, ingredient portions are a bit too precise as opposed to HelloFresh's slightly larger portions. So ingredients are just enough for the actual recipe, which leaves no room for using such ingredients for other future meals or even tasting. Also, some of the sauces come pre-prepared, which can be a positive or a negative depending on your preferences, as many people enjoy the process of creating the sauce from scratch. But in terms of saving time, this is pretty convenient. Now, speaking of sauces, a very common feedback is that the sauce quantity tends to be on the lower side, which is something you want to keep in mind when choosing Green Chef. Another small inconvenience that I've encountered while cooking is the time estimate. Some instruction timings are off. For example, in one of the recipes that I tried, the rice was supposed to cook for 16 to 18 minutes, but for the provided amount of rice and liquid, it really seemed too long, so I narrowed it down to 10 minutes because otherwise the rice would have definitely burned. So you might need to use some cooking common sense in some of the recipes. That's something to consider if you're a beginner. Another example on the timing estimate was the veggie bowl. It specifies that the time required to make the meal was 30 minutes, but the order of preparation was incorrect, and if the veggies have to be baked for 20 to 22 minutes, I would have to chop them at an incredible speed, not to mention having to toss them in different seasonings and oil. So this could be very frustrating depending on how much time you can spare. Additionally, some meals take some extra time if you include the cleanup process, which can be a hassle if the recipe requires a bunch of bowls and cups to empty ingredients in. With that being said, it's actually better to prepare some small cups and empty some spices into them, which sounds like more dishes to wash, but it's more convenient than the occasional mess on the counter because of a faulty package. Which leads us to the last potential downside, the packaging, as you always have to keep an eye out for the occasional leaks in bags alongside spices falling out of their plastic packages. But let's move on to the food itself. How did it taste? As expected, the food experience was great. The pre-made spice blends, sauces, and marinades are amazing, and they add so much flavor to each dish. Green Chef offers diverse recipe options, so it has something for everyone. Out of all the meals that I tried, my favorite was the chimichurri bean stuffed peppers. First of all, it smelled really good. The guacamole mixed with the rice resulted in like a creamier texture that was really tasty, and crispy roasted corn was also great as an addition. Moving on, I found that on average, the meals have a lower calorie count than other meal services that I've tried, which makes it a great option for anyone looking for weight loss or just want to eat healthier. The recipes had great overall balance in terms of protein, veggies, and carbs, and everything was portioned out appropriately. So Green Chef is definitely the healthiest option out of the other available meal plans. Now, having said that, one of the benefits of how Green Chef recipes are made is that you end up exploring flavors that you don't think you'd like, but you actually end up really liking. I actually learned quite a bit about balancing flavors, which is certainly a skill that carries over to other recipes. Now, you might be wondering, what is the website experience like? The overall design is really nice and colorful. It offers simple and user-friendly layouts, and the process of signing up is really straightforward also. The first eye-catching feature of their website is the menu. You can choose from 30 weekly recipes and mix and match meals from different diet preferences in one weekly box. You can check the menu, which shows recipes from up to 3 weeks in advance, which can help you make your decision preemptively. Moving on, we have different add-ons to choose from, such as different flavored oatmeals, egg bites, and extra protein options. However, there are some cons to consider, such as the inability to swap proteins or even customize the meal kits. Now, when choosing your desired plan, you get the option to choose which available diets you want to be included in your box, and the number of meals per week, which is either 3 or 4, as well as the number of people that you would be serving, 2, 4, or 6. It's important to note that the 6-serving option is a rarity in today's meal kit world, and it allows a large family to enjoy delicious meal kits without having to supplement a 4-serving box, which is something to keep in mind also. Now, speaking of 4 servings, if you order a meal with a 4 servings option, you'll see a note that specifies what adjustments you'll have to make while cooking at the top of the instruction page on the back side of the recipe cards, such as doubling the measurements where it makes sense, as well as using bigger equipment. Now, even though Green Chef meals are at the higher end of the price range, depending on how many recipes you order each week, their quality is worth it. Yeah, it can be a bit pricey since you tend to pay a bit more for the convenience of the delivery, prep, and portions plan, but I'd say it's worth it for the time you'd be spending doing these tasks on your own, as well as the experience that you get throughout the cooking process. But of course, if you'd like to give Green Chef a try with a little bit of a discount, feel free to use the coupon code that I've linked down in the description below. And if you're wondering about the commitment aspect, you can freeze your order or cancel it at any time, and you can also skip weeks in advance in case you were going out of town, so you don't have to worry. The customer service was very responsive, and I appreciated their flexibility with scheduling and cancellations. Now, who would I recommend Green Chef to? So Green Chef is great for people who enjoy simple, healthy, and organic meals. And if you're looking to get into cooking, you'll learn a lot while preparing these recipes. So not only are you getting healthy and delicious meals, but you're also expanding your cooking skills and knowledge along the way. And we can't forget about the eco-friendly packaging, which is such a plus to have. So ultimately, would I recommend Green Chef? And the answer is a resounding yes, definitely. What sets Green Chef apart from the rest of the meal kit services is the fact that they provide organic and healthy meals, which are also specialized to cater to different diets. So you'll be able to find something that really works for you regardless of your dietary preferences. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please feel free to leave a like. Let me know if you have any questions in the description down below, and subscribe because I've got a lot more meal kit reviews on the way. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.